Well, hello and welcome everyone to my Courageous Conversations. And if you don't know me, I'm Andrea Morrison and I'm a transformational coach. And in celebration of my new program that starts next Monday on the 8th of June, the Courageous Females program, I thought it would be really good to introduce to you some of the courageous females that I know. And these are amazing women who are some of the women that I've shared this understanding with, and they'll be sharing with you how it has impacted their lives and their business. And today I'm joined by the lovely Amy Bell, who is a communications and marketing expert. I've known her for quite some time now and seen the understanding come out in different areas of her life. So I'm just going to pass it over to Amy and allow her to share with you the aspects where it's impacted her most. So over to you, Amy. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Good morning. And I think for me, we'll start at, I contacted you to do something, to have a chat with you. I think it was last kind of November, December time. And at that point, there'd been quite a lot of difficulties that year with personal lives and things. But on a business front, I'd reached further than I thought I would, faster than I thought I would. And that happened in kind of the September. I remember saying to you, I just feel like I've hit a stop button. And I've hit a pause, and I'm just in this void. And one of the things that I used to say quite a lot to everybody was that my get up and go had got up and gone. I was finding it really hard just to sometimes get up on a morning, get out of bed, have some kind of structure to my day, not sit on the settee and watch Netflix all day. Everybody who knows me knows that I go through TV series as like there's no tomorrow. And it was that idea that I wasn't very well, so then I had to sit and just do nothing. And I was either going to be unwell and I couldn't do anything at all, or I was going to be well and I could do everything and I could take over the world. And that just wasn't happening for me at all. And one of the things, one of our first conversations, I was saying, well, I have to make this big decision. I have to decide whether I continue as an organic business that's a lifestyle business that's small, that keeps going, ticking over, or I grow, I build, I employ people, and I make it into this big, ridiculous thing. And I remember you saying to me, well, why? Why is it one or the other? And why do you need to make the decision? Is there a decision? And I was like, well, of course there's a decision, because you have to do things to make it happen. And you're like, well, no, that doesn't have to be that way. So that was one of the main things, and that kind of got me thinking. And then I think it was a couple of sessions later, and I was saying, look, I'm still in this void. I can't take anything forward. I'm just not getting anywhere. And you said, well, what's with all the thinking? I was like, what do you mean? I'm not thinking. All I've got is void. I don't have any thoughts. And we kind of discussed that a little bit more. And we came around to this getting up on a morning or getting up off the settee. And one of the biggest things that changed everything for me, it was quite early on in January. And you literally said, what would happen if you just did it when you thought about it? And instead of thinking, oh, well, I need to do some exercise, or I need to get up, or I should do this, or I should do that. You said, just do the thing that you want to do, or that you feel like doing. So you set me a challenge to try and do that 1 week. And I did. And from that week, I was just like, world changed. Up early on a morning, I was doing all of the cleaning and the washing and all the stuff that I'd been putting off. I did some exercise, all of that type of thing. And it just it was like a reset button had just been pressed. So that was the first thing that happened. And in that time, I kind of thought, well, I'm just going to ignore this decision that we've decided isn't a big decision and doesn't need to be made. So I'll just put that to one side. And then I continued trying to do these little steps and trying to think, well, one of the things was, well, where do you feel kind of grounded and in a moment, and when do you feel quiet, and is there any way that you can get that? Because I can't always go outside, or I can't always go places because I'm allergic to the sunlight. So it was, where can you find find it in your normal day-to-day life and just recognize it when it comes. And what I found over the past few months definitely is that I recognize that moment now, and I'm quite happy just to sit in it. Which the two things together is quite profound, because it means that, one, I'm doing the things that I want and I need to do for me and my body at the time, and on the other hand, I'm not worried about it if I'm not doing all of the things to take over the world at any one time. And I think I've gained that kind of like permission to sit still. And I've never been one for the idea of quietly sitting in mindfulness. Kind of that idea just doesn't, like sat still meditating just doesn't resonate with me. And anybody who knows me knows I literally just move about all of the time, even when I'm not supposed to. So I always had that guilt of, well, I should be moving this place, or I should be doing this, or, well, I should be being more mindful, like I should be sat still being mindful. And it's just that whole concept of that should is slowly disappearing. I still get weird sometimes, but the whole idea that I can just sit when I don't feel well, and I can go for a nap, like I've been doing quite a lot in this weather, and I can stop working and work another time. And that's been completely transformational for me. And then as we went through as I've been working through that situation, I've also come to things that I feel are the right thing to do. So I've stopped kind of thinking it's right, and I feel it's right, and I know it's right. So on my business, I'm getting an intern who's starting on Wednesday this week, which is
wow.
Excited. And I've also been looking into whether I can employ somebody. It would only be part-time to begin with. But when I first started speaking to you, I think I was terrified of the idea of employing somebody because of the pressure and the needing to be looking after them all the time and responsible for somebody else. When actually, it's just natural progression now. And then the ideas that I've got for a business, I mean, I've been trying to do in-person workshops for quite some time. I do them in businesses, but I find it quite hard to set up externally. And then since COVID's come around, I was already setting up to do some online style workshops. So now I've been working on those. And I mean, I've said I don't sit still. I spent 6 hours the other day recording voiceovers for presentations for this course. Now I hate the sound of my own voice, and I would never have dreamt I would record myself and put it out into the public ever. And I sat for 6 hours solid and I couldn't move. It just felt right. And you'd been saying the week before, well, if it feels right, it'll be right.
Yeah.
And it was feeling right, apparently. So I'm nearly done, and I'm done like 3 weeks ahead of schedule, and I can get my course uploaded and I can start promoting it. And I've just got this little bit more, just trust in your instinct a little bit more about it, and the work will come, and it'll come right because that's what you need to do at that time. And I think that's been, well, there's been a couple of different steps in there that I've just described, but I think it's been just groundbreaking for me over the last 6 months.
Wow, that's just incredible, isn't it? I think there is so much in there, and I think those listening would just be hearing so many different things that will resonate with them. But I mean, I think what strikes me is the change that has happened since that first conversation, which was kind of, as you say, about, well, I've got to create, I've got to be in charge, I've got to do this, I've got to decide, has it got to be this, has it got to be that? And I think that resonates with lots of people, because of course that's how we're conditioned, that we have to kind of force this and make decisions what direction we go in, and is it right or is it wrong, and the pressure is immense. And what I've seen and what I'm hearing today is just this beautiful kind of unfolding of how your business is growing and following that natural progression and those steps and all of those things that you said you wanted kind of back in November time, October, November, are kind of happening now, but they're kind of happening in this really nice kind of gentle way where it's all doable and all very hopeful and more enjoyable as well than that kind of like manic decision making at the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is an enjoyable process, and it's the creativity that I've always enjoyed. And I think I scared myself by the sheer idea that it could be a success. And I think I absolutely terrified myself by the idea that it would be this big thing. And actually, it's not. It's the little steps that help build something. And I mean, I coach volleyball, and I coach young kids and adults of different sizes. And I think in that realm, I work with I say that all the steps add together, and then it becomes something, and I'm quite patient about it, and it comes around, and one step at a time. But yet somehow I would never allow that in myself. And I thought I had to have more experience or more knowledge or more everything. And actually, if you just follow what your own self, what your own mind's telling you, then you can put all of these steps together.
Now, isn't that interesting? Because you had so much wisdom with regards to your volleyball, and I remember those conversations. You know, it was just so intuitive and really kind of relying on your own wisdom, and you could see, you know, like as you say, those little steps, and they all add together and everything. But again, I think we're conditioned that, well, that's okay, but that doesn't apply to business or any other aspect of my life. That just works there, and we compartmentalize the kind of the insight and the realizations that we've had, and we forget that, oh, that the subject matter isn't important, you know, but the truth, if you like, the principle is the same across all of our lives, and we can apply it everywhere. And I think that's, you know, I remember that conversation when it was like, you know, oh, it's just like the volleyball. Yeah, I do that all the time. And it's like, yeah, having permission to let go of the ideas of how we think business should look and how we think business should be developed and grown, and using that kind of wisdom that we have, I think has been incredible, hasn't it?
It has, yeah, and like you said, in all aspects of my life as well. So I think that you always think that you've got this preconceived idea, this is where you should be in life, and this is what you should be doing next. And we've had lots of conversations, because I'm planning my wedding. We've had conversations about that as well, and this idea that brides have to be stressed out about it. Same idea, any kind of event or any kind of product launch or whatever it is. And you've got this, people seem to have this thing about, well, we have to be stressed about it because that's what we do. But I found it so easy, and it was so calm. And I think that's the bit that I think I thought that I was being weird because I was like that. And actually, it's just because.
Yeah, I remember that when you were quite shocked when I was like, no, I coach people to be like this.
Yeah. So I think learning that part of you isn't just for one part of your life, but it can be in your business life as well, and it can be in, like, your personal life is your business life. And I know that some other ladies have said this in the last couple of weeks as well, in other conversations. And you are your business, and you get taught that. And I think that, again, that freaked me out as well, because if I'm my business, I don't have a personality anymore because I have to be a certain way, because that's what I've always been taught. Because you are your brand and everything. And actually, you're a human being, and sometimes you feel ill, and sometimes you feel rubbish, and sometimes you have to sleep, and sometimes you're really hyperactive and smiley and happy, and that's all right. Like, you can be all of those things, and it's not going to last forever. And I think that's the fundamental. That's one of the main things that's in every single thing that I'm doing now, which is what you said, which is I kind of always thought I was stuck in this void, and I was stuck there. And yes, we all have feelings, and yes, we all have different emotions, and we have different stresses, and we have different situations, and we have different illnesses and well-being as well. But it won't last forever, and you don't have to be stuck in it. As long as you can be in that moment, but you know that it'll pass as well. Yeah. So I think I've gone less from Jekyll and Hyde, which I used to be called. I either take it on or I collapse in it, and less like all or nothing. And now I'm more, I do what I need when I need, and that's all right.
That's just beautiful, isn't it? That really is, just that whole noticing of our thinking. And I know you said earlier, on one of our earlier conversations, when I invited you to notice the thinking you were doing, and you were like, I'm not doing any thinking. And it's like, it's like we don't notice it. Like we don't notice that we're breathing until somebody kind of says, focus on your breathing. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, I'm breathing, and you kind of focus on it, and I think, noticing how our thinking is creating every single situation, even the feeling of voidness and being in a void, or feeling stuck, or feeling overwhelmed, or unable to make a decision, all of that stuff that feels so disabling in the moment. But actually knowing that, this too will pass, and I'm not going to feel like this forever. Is so incredible and so powerful.
It's that old there's an old saying, isn't there, about not knowing where your feet will take you if you take the first step.
Yeah,
it's that idea that the adventure will happen anyway, so it's just about living it rather than thinking about it.
Absolutely. And enjoying all those little steps, because they're all really important. Even if you don't end up in the place where you think you're going to end up, they're still equally as important and can all be enjoyable in their own right. I think is really important as well.
Absolutely.
Amy, it's been absolutely lovely talking to you this morning. Thank you so much. What an incredible journey, and all those insights are just wonderful. And I'm sure that those who are listening at the moment have gained so much from hearing it. And just you sharing what you've seen so far. So thank you so much. And have a lovely rest of your day. And thank you for joining us on Courageous Conversations.
Thank you. See you later.
See you later.